this shit off with. The white people canceled the show out of solidarity with the black people while the black people were making the show. I don't know. I see them on the other channel talking about this is a very serious event and we are really standing in solidarity with the African American community. Let me tell y'all like what's up. And by the way, if you're watching Andrea and Rachel, just turn them off because they ain't gonna say shit that's entertaining. Y'all already know what's up. Like they're gonna do their best, but like the real heat is right here. My uncle passed away this morning, and yeah. And y'all who watch the show know that my father passed away like a week and a half ago. My cousin, I've known my cousin since he was a little baby. Like I was 3 years old and he was a little baby. And if you know that age gap and you have like a new kid in the house, that kid is like your best friend. And yeah, my cousin was like raised with me, and we lived together for a long chunk of time. Just did everything together, like thick and thin. And so he's going through the same thing that I'm going through right now, and it's a real bummer. And like I had to like see the body and work with the body and get like it was very rough. And my cousin was out of town, so like with him out of town, it kind of fell on me to be like, you know, help that situation. So between that and the Kenosha shooting, like I was thinking, I'm gonna cancel today, and I'll just like stay home. I'll smoke out and not even worry about this. But like, I DM'd Aaron and I was like, hi, what's up? How you feeling, man? And Aaron was like, let's do both, because we had like a comedy episode and we were going to talk about the news, and you had like the exact opposite perspective, which is like, don't let nothing stop the mission. Even if the mission is some bullshit and we can get on here and tell jokes, like I don't think we should let what other people are doing up north like control how we feel and how we spread our message. So, you know, my vibe is, and so after I talked to you, I was like, you know what? You are absolutely right. So I got the gang together. Leslie, I know you went through a whole lot to even get your setup together for today. And this is your first time even being on the show. So if you can like let people know who the hell are you? Where did you come from? Like, what's your deal?
I don't know what my deal is, to be quite honest. I got a big mouth.
Still don't. Okay.
I still don't. I got a big mouth and decided I wanted to talk about shit, and met what's going to be my co-host. He's going by Eric Encrypted. I am Leslie, the go-to Negro. You can call me Leslie. You can call me GTN. You can call me Negro. You can call me. You can call me whatever the fuck you want. Just you can call me. Anyway. And so we decided we wanted to talk about something, and he knew you, and that's kind of how I ended up here. But I did stand up starting in 1993. I'm old as dirt, and I think I got some shit to say and some kind of funny stories. That's pretty much me.
Oh yeah.
You have came through all of the great OG stand-up comedians, because you came like that's a great era for stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I started in Fort Worth, Texas, and I've worked with some big people. I try not to be a name dropper because I'm not really a star fucker. But like I'll tell you, I pissed off Bruce. My very first time on stage was at, I don't even remember the name of the club, to be quite honest, but it was Steve Harvey's old club. And my MC was Shucky Ducky, Quack Quack.
Oh my goodness.
Quack, quack.
Yeah.
Okay. So who were your inspirations when you were just getting into the game?
Well, okay, so here's how I got into stand-up, because like I said, I just have a big mouth and I'm kind of slightly insane. So I decided one day while I was sitting at work, I was a receptionist at a warranty company, and I just out of the ether said, you know what? Today, I either want to sing the national anthem at a Rangers game, Texas Rangers, or I want to do stand-up comedy. So I called Texas Stadium, and the auditions had closed the day before. So I said, okay, I guess the universe decided that I'm going to do stand-up. So I started calling clubs, going, do you have an open mic night? And I finally got one that said yes. And I said, when is it? And they said, tonight. And I said, okay. And I went on my lunch break and I wrote a routine because it's that easy. And the rest is history.
Can I ask a quick question? What was the appeal? I mean, besides being, as you said insane and something else. I forgot.
I get this bug up my ass every once in a while that I feel the need to publicly humiliate myself.
Okay.
And that's how that manifested at that portion. Like I do things like all of a sudden I decided I wanted to ride a motorcycle one day. I didn't even see a motorcycle. I just went, you know what? I need a motorcycle. And I came home and I was married to my first husband and said, hey, I need a motorcycle. And he went, okay. And we went and bought motorcycles. I mean, I just do shit like that.
Spontaneity and insanity. Word. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like a formula. Yeah.
Which husband was this?
That was the first husband.
Okay.
I've had 3 husbands. I was married for 20 years the first time, 7.5 the second, and this one going on 2.
And this second one is the right one.
No, this is the third one.
I know. This third one is the right. I was thinking second year. This third one is the right one. And it's the perfect relationship, and it's going to last you all the way into old age, maybe.
Well, I'm already old, so let's get that out of the way.
Define old.
He's 37. I will be 53 next month.
It is.
Oh.
So I've got 2 kids. They're 27 and 22. So yeah, I'm fucking old. I'm Gen X.
Well, black don't crack, man. That's for sure. That's all.
Right.
Thank you. But yeah, and is this the right one? I don't know, but I'm never fucking doing it again. So I have let him know with no uncertain terms. The only way either one of us are getting out of this marriage is in a coffin or in an urn.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this divorce bullshit again. I'm just not.
I don't think I can do the marriage thing to begin with.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not doing the marriage thing. Well, and he okay, and I tell him this too because this one has to last because he ruined my plan.
Yeah.
My plan when I moved back to Florida from Texas after my second marriage broke up. And I moved to be closer to my stepdad, who at the time was 91. But I was going to move to Palm Beach area, you know, where Trump lives now, you know, down in his neck of the woods. Old white rich men tend to love black women. So my plan was to be a sugar baby for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Respect.
And unfortunately, I met my husband a week to the day after getting here in this house, and the rest is history.
All right, cool. Petty reparations. Word.
Yeah. I used to do a bit about that because, again, both my first husbands are white, and my first husband is from my very first husband is from Texas. So I used to tell people, at least black women, fuck reparations. Fuck reparations. Marry you a white man from the South and make him pay every fucking day.
It doesn't have to be binary. It can be both. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. It's tight. That was funny.
Aaron, you are supposed to be our clout champion. You're supposed to be the clout legend, and they've silenced you. What's happening?
Yeah, man. I got banned for saying I can't wait for this country to fucking die already, which got flagged as I guess is like genocide, which is obviously I've not talked about that.
Apparently Twitter was like,
yeah.
He's going to individually, do kung fu against every individual member of the American country. Which I know you get up early, but I don't think that you can pull that off.
Nah, I don't think I could pull that off in a day's worth, man, of tweets.
Although, Aaron, there are days where if you decide to call me, because
I will. I'm worried. Parody.
Yeah.
Starts with a Twitch stream, and then like it just escalates. We build an army. That's how it goes.
But yeah, man, I'm banned for a week. Like I think it's like 6 days or 5 hours and something. I don't know. So no, I don't have access to any of that clout. But I'm still.
We have you, which is important.
And it's only a week. I mean, it's only a week ban. That's not bad. You're I was thinking like a month or because I've got a friend who gets banned monthly from Facebook,
Jesus.
like on a constant, and it's just for posting memes. So
yeah. I think what sucked is that I did an episode of my recent episode of my podcast with Benjamin Dixon, as most of our watchers will know, and it was a really, really good interview, and just like to be able to not be able to share it. So I reached out to all like auxiliary forces. I reached out to the Trillbillies. I was like, yo, can y'all share this shit? You know, because they got a big following. I reached out to Andre, of course, the co-founder of the Resistance Noir Network. So, and you guys, of course, you know, Metro Atlanta DSA, y'all helped me out. So it ain't that bad. I'm getting time to reading a little bit, you know, smoking a lot of weed, reflecting. So yeah. You know.
Listen, yeah, we have. I mean, so we've got to talk about like the current events, and I'm pretty sure that on the other stream, they're doing their what do you call this voice? As a wrestling fan, this is the Owen Hart voice. Like they the pro wrestling, and Owen Hart fell off the thing. And usually they're like, Stone Cold with the body slam. But for this, you know, the dude died for real. So they were like, oh, it's real sad. And so they're doing the Owen Hart voice on the other stream, I'm sure.
That was good.
Thank you. I did my best. But what were y'all's initial reactions? Is it something that y'all felt like you saw coming, or were you surprised, and to what degree?
You go ahead, Leslie.
I missed something. So repeat the question. I'm sorry.
There was a shooting in Kenosha like last night during the protests.
Oh, the 17-year-old that just went walking through the protests with a long rifle.
Yeah, some literal 5-year-old with a rifle just wilding out. Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck? Well, first of all, it's Wisconsin, so that says And I'm not saying that just as a Bears fan. But no, Wisconsin is a little fucked up. I mean, what's really crazy to me is a lot of people still think that racism only happens in the South. And as someone who was born in New York and raised in the suburbs of Chicago, I can tell you, yeah, there's fucking racists everywhere.
That ass. Yeah.
And in fact, like a lot of the people in the North are more radical than the people in the South because like they have gone through what the Southern Negroes are attempting to achieve. Like you know, Malcolm was from the North and Martin was from the South. Because they already have gone through that whole transitional period of, you know, if we elect the right leaders and they say the right things will fall into place. So when you realize, oh yeah, actually no, that's not the case at all, that creates some disillusionment. You know what I mean?
No, and I think that's one of the reasons why Martin started to think more like Malcolm before he was killed. Right. And you and I have talked about this. Other people won't know because they're first time meeting me. But Martin Luther King is my cousin. Coretta is my third or fourth cousin. I never figured that quite out. But I'm related to Coretta through my dad's mom. I've been to the compound. Back in the day, they used to have wolves, which was really kind of cool. But yeah, so and I love it when people like use MLK's words against me. I'm like, this is a family now.
You don't know, right?
So
exactly.
Don't even. And even though I've been kind of on the outskirts of politics my whole life because of my grandmother, she was big in the NAACP. She was big in the Democratic Party. I went to my first Democratic debate. I was Ford Carter. Went to Carter's inauguration. So just to give you a little bit of history of, you know, where I'm coming from, things, how do I put this? I've been coming here to Florida my whole life, and I was always more afraid when I was here than when I was at home. But the first place I got called a nigger was in Illinois. So
Long Island here.
Yeah. And I was 4 and had to run off. I had to run from the bus to get my ass kicked. The first house we were going to buy in Schaumburg, Illinois, my parents made a bid on it, and then the homeowner called us when we got home, and they had to renege on the bid because the neighbors saw us at the house and came to his house and said, if we bought the house, that they would burn it down. So, you know, when they talk about in like the Blues Brothers, Schomburg Nazis, yeah, that's a thing. So people seem to think that if we vote in Democrats from the North, things will get better. Well, I'm here to tell you that going on 53, I grew up and the shit was just as bad up north as it was down south. Maybe it wasn't as blatant or in your face as it was down south, but it was still fucking there.
Yeah. I think, like, to put some historical context on it, I'm reading Black Reconstruction now, and one thing that you find is that the North is always
step back. Step back.
Yeah.
What is
W.E.B. Du Bois. Yeah, Du Bois. I was like looking at, I was like, I know his fucking name. Why am I like, you put me on the spot? So I was like, went blank. I was like, oh shit. But basically, like, I guess just like kind of sum it up, sweep over it. I mean, the North is seen as this advocate of abolition and you know, a champion of anti-slavery, but that wasn't until anti-racist sentiments had built to such a pitch, and that's mostly because, you know, black people, black slaves were seen as valuable, right? For the North, right? It was taking labor away from the South while also replacing northern white troops who had deserted. But what people don't realize is that the tension between the white working class and free black labor in the North, especially between white ethnics, was at such a fever pitch that it culminated in like race riots, right? Especially when the draft like happened, you know, where now workers are being told that they have to like join the Union Army and fight for an interest, for, you know, for two powers whose their interest is not even thought of, right? Like they're fighting for Negroes.
You mean kind of like now, except for without the draft?
Exactly, right? Right, no, for real, right? It's like, good.
I'm Anthony Clark, who ran in Illinois this year. That one of his most popular comments: the draft exists today. Poverty is the draft.
Yes, exactly.
Poverty, and dead right. Poverty is the draft. Yeah,
exactly. But to put it in the context of what happened, yo, it's like, bro, like police. Like law enforcement in this country have always been infiltrated by white, like supremacist, fascist, like sentiments, right? It's just the nature of police, the institution. They're there to protect and serve capital interests and, like, you know, protect the racial hierarchy, right? To ensure that this racial hierarchy, any sort of rebellion or riot doesn't disturb it. So it's like the fact that this dude not only drove from Indiana, his home state, to Wisconsin, was given water, right, by the police, was appreciated by the fucking police, and then after shooting people, walked straight to the police who didn't apprehend him immediately. It's like, what else would anybody expect, right? Like, motherfuckers want to talk about violence, but it's like, what about the violence of like the state? What about like the silence, right? And letting these people do this shit. So I mean, I'm not telling people what to do, but I think bad things are coming, yo, and people need to be prepared. And as you were saying, Leslie, voting in a Democrat is not going to solve any of this shit, right? Because Minnesota, Minneapolis is a Democratic state and city, so.
Well, and it's not voting in the Democrats that they've got in front of us for president. I mean, and for vice president, certainly not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
They're not even running on like attempting to solve the problem.
No, I mean, we're okay. This is like, okay, it's making me stutter. It's weirding me out so bad. The fact that we have Democrats who are speaking at the RNC convention and Republicans speaking at the DNC convention should speak to it all, to everybody. Anybody fucking paying a bit of attention should see what that really is. But yet we've got still the vote blue no matter who people going, no, Biden's going to fix everything and Kamala's going to fix everything. And the Trump people going, yes, Trump is the savior of everything and he's completely different from the other side. Everybody sucks.
Everybody sucks. And on the side of the Democrats, like they are running on, and y'all, Aaron will be back in a minute. It's starting to rain on him. So he's like getting out of the rain and he's going to set up like indoors. But yeah, Biden is running explicitly on, I will change absolutely nothing. And we are going to like return to the 2012 to 2016 status quo. And like he's made no secret about that. That's literally like his campaign speeches are like, we got to go back to how it was. It was good. In fact, Leslie, it's funny. I was talking about a wrestling metaphor. I actually have one more, which is like, wrestling is fake. They pretend to like hit each other.
Right.
It's scripted. A wrestling fan will get touchy about that in the comments.
Yeah.
Either way, now you've got a situation where this entire political process, which used to be like the elites getting in a room and collaborating and deciding on outcomes, has, because of the internet and social media, it's become much more democratized and much more polarized. And it feels like Joe Biden is kind of running on like, back in the day, we didn't used to actually hit each other. Like, we would just pretend. And we need to go back to like pretending to have political differences that aren't very important.
We need to go back to the scripted story that everybody was buying. Because what Trump has done is thrown away the script.
Right.
And he's saying all the quiet parts out loud for both sides. And so both sides are panicking, going, we got to get rid of him because he's pulled the curtain down.
Yeah, there's that saying about like, you can't put toothpaste back into a tube.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the system has already like been bad. But I feel like for a wide variety of like suburban white liberals, the toothpaste was kind of in the tube for their worldview because there was no material like danger or trouble they were in.
No, it didn't affect them.
Right. And really, they're not like seriously physically affected now, but they have a president who is polarizing enough that, and I've said this before, like Trump talks about other white people the way that every other president has talked about black people historically, like as a problem that needs to be solved with varying measures of gentleness or rudeness or whatever. And that's kind of how Trump talks about his political opposition. And like, I think there's a lot of people who are used to being treated with courtesy, and they're not used to being talked about like that.
Well, it's my generation and older, unfortunately. I'm gonna own it. I'm Gen X, and boomers are next, and then the greatest generation, and then older. And my generation, I don't know what the fuck happened to us. Well, yes, I do. Okay. First of all, Gen X is the ungeneration where we're always excluded from everything.
Right.
If you ever see polls about shit, they'll talk about millennials, they'll talk about Gen Zers, they talk about boomers. They never talk about Gen Xers.
Yeah, they've never talked about like the emotional trends. Is Gen X depressed? Are they happy? Are they well? Yeah. What are they buying? Are they?
No, we were just like, they skipped all that with us.
Yeah.
And with that, we have, and I will say this, my generation is kind of disillusioned. We were told by our boomer parents and older, that if you work hard and if you do everything you're supposed to do, you're going to get the American dream. And people keep talking about millennials being the first generation not to get the same dreams as their parents. That's not true. It's Gen X. We started that trend where we were less educated and got less. So we pushed our kids, which our kids are millennials and Gen Zs, to have what we thought was the solution, which is a better education. And as that was happening, then the price for a better education got to the point where us Gen Xers, who were paying for our kids or even paying for ourselves, couldn't do it.
Gen X got gentrified, basically.
Gentrified the college. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. So some of us got lucky, and I'll say I'm one of those. I'm one of those who got lucky, where I've pretty much always had a decent place to live. I've never been hungry. My kids have never been hungry. Even when their dad left and I was brokered and broke, I still made sure that they were never hungry. They never wanted for anything. They never wanted for anything that they needed. Where I know there's a lot of people who can't say that. So I do know I got lucky. Bless you. But all that shit started with Gen X.
Aaron, I'm going to ask your perspective if your system is working. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like Gen X is part of the oppressed by boomers generational coalition? I think most of us don't think of Gen X at all, and we think of them as kind of a case-by-case basis.
Everybody thinks we're boomers.
I mean, No, you know what it is? You know what the trope is on Twitter? And you're not on Twitter, so you don't know this. A Gen Xer will express a problematic political view, and a 19-year-old will be like, "You're a boomer. Shut up."
Mm-hmm.
And the Gen Xer will get pissy.
Yes, because
like,
I'm not a boomer. I've
Gen
done
X.
the same shit. I will tell you that right now. I get pissed off when people call me a boomer. Motherfucker, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm first generation mall rat. I am not a boomer.
That's like you're reciting.
That's such a Gen X thing to do.
It's a catchphrase on Twitter. So it's funny that we just stumbled into that completely organically.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Nah, man. I guess it's kind of a curse looking at the world in a materialist kind of Marxist perspective. Because when I think of generations, right, I'm like, yo, like the boomers came about at a time where there was more productivity, higher wages, like not for everybody. We're in some racial utopia. Everybody was like, getting chicken and eating bread, but it was like there was excess, right? And then like my sister's generation, like Gen X, like I feel like because of these excesses and kind of decadence and hyper individualism and materialism and the whole MTV shit, like it engendered this sort of nihilism or like cynicism, like postmodernism too, like distrust of like past narratives and everything, but not like the radicals of the 60s where they believed they could change it. They were just like, yo, I'm gonna just go to the mall and buy some shit, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. In fact, that's a good. There was a lot of progressivism in Gen X. It was you said the shit so right. It was not like a revolutionary progressivism. It was more of a resigned progressivism.
It was aesthetic too.
We don't have the numbers. This is really messed up. Our parents are jerks.
Most of the people my age that I know up until Trump, because I don't know what the fuck happened there. Seriously, all of my friends are Trump supporters from high school.
This is insane.
All of them.
It's so insane.
How are they? Like, well, first of all, how many of them are white?
All of them.
Okay.
How are they doing cash wise?
Some are doing well, some aren't. I've got both ends of the spectrum. Okay, where I went to high school, in the suburbs of Illinois, we had kids that were poor, and everything all the way up to Medina Country Club. I don't know if you know about Medina Country Club, but it's a world famous country club with a world famous golf course on it. So kids that lived there went to my high school. And that's the one thing that we didn't click money wise growing up. Where I see that older people did a lot of that and younger kids did a lot of that. But my where I grew up, you clicked with what kind of music you listen to mostly. It was mostly our friends were based on what kind of music you listened to.
What music were you listening to in high school, college?
So I didn't go to college until I was in my 30s. I was a metalhead. Hardcore. My first concert with friends was Blizzard of Oz, Ozzy, Def Leppard, Two Arm Drummer, before they went pop.
Was this wasn't like a hair metal? This was like a brutal metal. Was this glam? Like what metal variety?
This was before hair bands. This was before the Poisons and the Motley Crues. Okay. So we're talking like 70s metal, like Ozzy, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, and then I got harder as I got older. So I went with Slayer, Megadeth. Yeah, I've been in pits.
kicked in the face.
I've shaken hands with King Diamond. I mean, yeah. As a matter of fact, I went to Clash of the Titans here in Florida in the 80s, and both Anthrax, Joey Belladonna from Anthrax, and Dave Mustaine from Megadeth stopped singing to point me out front row in the audience. Because I think I was probably the only black thing in the stadium.
Hey, good enough.
And I always got front row. And the reason why I got front row was because I was black.
That's right. Let me tell you.
I would tell my husband, my first husband, grab my belt loop. You jump the wall, And then being black and being the only black person there, I would just strut like I was important and ask people to move, and they just would because they couldn't figure out why I was there.
He must work. He must work here. Y'all get out the way. And also, you had the Karen instincts anyway, so you were already like bullying them.
Oh yeah, I'd be like, "Excuse me, you're in my seat. Do I need to get a bouncer? Do I?"
The Karen energy is strong.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we were talking. She was like, "Yeah, I can just bring that out whenever it's needed."
I get it. All of my husbands have asked me to do it in different ways. This one goes, honey, white woman us a good seat. Okay.
That's a lot better than if you're actually. It would be funny if your first two were like, "Yeah, do the white woman thing," and you're like,
"Oh, but they did."
Yeah, right.
They did it different. That's why I said they did it in different ways. My first one would go flirt us something.
"Oh, okay, wow."
Okay. Yeah, and I over flirted once for some mulch, and we woke up to 10 feet of mulch in our driveway.
Different people or one person that was just like give her
there
all
was a company that was they cut down a tree of our neighbor across the street, and so we were getting ready to do some flower beds. So my husband said, "Go flirt and get us some free mulch." So I was like, "Okay." So I go over there and I was like, "Hey guys, I know you're not supposed to, but could we possibly get some of that mulch?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, sure, when we're done." And we woke up the next morning and they had dumped both trees in our driveway. And I had to call the company and then bitch. And I was like, "Look, I'm not trying to get anybody into trouble because I know they weren't supposed to do this, but yeah, they kind of destroyed my front yard. And I can't get out of my driveway, so yeah."
And they're coming back and they're mad. They're like, "We did it for her and brought her."
Actually,
on.
I think I got them fired.
Well, that's the way the news.
Petty preparations gone wrong. Yeah.
Oh God! All right, yeah.
And then I used to do a thing, and this is just because I'm an asshole. For my birthday every year, I would just walk around and see what I could get people to give me. So I just walk up to you in a bar and go, "Oh my gosh, you know what? It's my birthday. I like that bandana. Can I have it?"
And people would just be like, "Okay."
They just have a box full of shit.
This is literally the reason why we have her on like our extended family, so that when we need to like get something from a real world location, we can just have Leslie make the call and then get it together.
Yeah,
like make it happen.
I'm also really I don't know about nowadays, but I used to be really good at getting phone numbers. So like
I'm sure you can still get the phone numbers.
Yeah, but like back when people had home phones, it was a lot easier.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. I used to be really good at being able to get like famous people's phone numbers and just call them.
Just call them one night. Just what are you doing?
Like, hey, well, I was in the running back in the day to be the next co-host for American Idol.
Holy shit!
Back when Dunkelman was still there, and everyone in the comedy community knew he was getting fired.
Because he was doing bad right away, or was it just?
Yeah, he was just not personable. He's not really all that funny. It just it just didn't click. Right. So when I found that out, I figured out how to get to what's his name, the producer, Simon, not Simon Cowell, but Simon, the other Simon, who's the producer.
Schuster? I don't know which.
Simon. God, why can't I think of his name off the top? It'll come to me. But he basically plays the Simon Cowell on the British version. He's the actual executive producer of all of the shows. So
that's Simon
Fuller. Simon Fuller.
Yep.
So I was able to figure out his office number and then get the address. So then I sent a gift basket to his secretary so that when I called the next time, she would put me through. And she did.
Hey.
So what was your FaceTime like?
What do you mean?
What was your conversation time?
Oh, well, we talked. Well, the first time we talked about the gift basket that I sent, because one of the things that I sent his secretary was a gift for him. And you know those mugs you get in the mall with your picture on them? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I had one of those with my picture on it and my phone number on it, and that's what I.
Oh my God, that's
It's so slick. Yeah,
You know
and he
what?
told me that was brilliant.
it's so slick.
Let me tell you a story that happened behind your back. I love hearing stories about me that happen when I'm not in the room. So, Leslie, we had our conversation for like an hour or whatever about Into the Abyss, which is going to be an incoming production from you.
Yes.
And so I got back with my own group, and I was like, so the good news is she's really like dope. She's a great media personality. They've got chemistry. It's going to be great. But I was like, the interviews. We might have to help with like getting interviews for her so that she has like people to bounce off of.
In the beginning, yes.
Yeah. But you're already an expert social climber. So like we've been doing all this work. You can probably do a better job of this than us.
Just point me in a direction. I have no shame.
Yeah, all you got to do, we're going to take your picture. We're going to put it on a mug. We're going to send it to Nina Turner. And we'll do the show with her. It'll be great.
There you go. Although, see, again, I've gotten people fired doing shit like that. So, like, I showed up. Oh God. Okay, so there was this radio personality in Dallas, and he's kind of he's a giant douche. I don't even know if he's still on air there. But back in the day, he was the greatest thing since Jesus Christ. And he was looking for a traffic person, and I was giant pregnant. And I was talking to another friend of mine who worked at the radio station. He's like, you should show up at the back door in the morning, because he was doing the morning show at the time, and just like give him your resume and surprise him and, see if you can get him to talk to you. So I'm like, okay, now I'm giant pregnant. I'm 8.5 months pregnant. So and I gained 60 pounds. Yeah, I gained 60 pounds with both my kids. So I'm huge. Okay. So it's 4 a.m. I'm there with a big thing of muffins, my headshot, and my resume. He comes around the corner and I stand up and he runs away from me because he doesn't know why I'm there. And I'm like, and strangely, his last name is Martin. So I'm like, Mr. Martin, hey, we've met before. I was just wanted to bring muffins for the show and give you my resume and hope that you'll consider me for the traffic girl position. So he's like, yeah, okay, and grabs it and jumps in the elevator. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I get in my car and I'm listening on my way home, and he's talking about me. And he's talking about this big, scary black chick.
How tall are you?
5'7".
You're taller.
But I'm big because I'm pregnant. And it's obvious I'm pregnant. Like, I could barely get up. I was so pregnant. Yeah. But he was talking about me and how scared he was and blah, blah, blah. And this is before the day of cell phones. So I had to pull over and go to a payphone and call him and go, dude, look, I'm the person who was there. This is what it is. I wasn't trying to do anything. I just thought it would be, an interesting way to introduce myself to you again to try to get this gig. Darren and I thought it would be funny, da-da-da. Darren worked at the radio station too. He fired Darren that night.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God. Woo. That's so funny. Well, look, we should get you to get an interview with one of these Republican officials. That way it's the best of both worlds, because we get the get and you're dismantling the machine just a little bit.
There we go. And once COVID is over, I will show up anywhere. Again, I have no shame.
I tell you, we need to make a spin-off show called Once COVID is Over, because I've just been so excited. And one of the cool things, while the COVID is happening, you can fly anywhere in the country. If you just want to take that risk with yourself, you can get anywhere for extremely cheap. And in fact, a couple of members of the show moved in together, and they're like job hunting. I mean, they've already got jobs. They're putting together some savings, and because the plan is to buy some land, as we're, having fun, but also like thinking about what's our future going to be like. The ability to like do self-sustainability is something that we're really into as a show.
Are you guys looking to do it in the U.S.?
Yes. Kennedy is in New Mexico and looking to buy, because land's very cheap up there. Okay. And just trying to raise like $5 or $6 grand and put a down payment on, an acre or whatever. And we're super excited about doing that. Oh, Aaron, you were there for that whole episode. We're talking about communes and being willing to get in the dirt. And I guess we can come back and have that speech one more time. Yeah. Leslie,
I watched that show.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's perfect.
I did. That was the first show of yours I watched.
We've got to get in the dirt. We got to get in the dirt.
Well, okay. See, again, I'm bougie. I don't. Do you see these? These are real. These are my fingernails. I don't put those in dirt.
They're very beautiful.
They should be great for gardening then.
Yeah. No. And here, my plan is to leave the country.
Where do you?
My plan was always to leave the country. Like before any of this, I've been an Anglophile since I was 4. I've always wanted to live in Europe, so that was always the plan. Mm-hmm. And then Trump happened, and I went, oh fuck, okay. I guess I should stay and try to help because I do have kids and they haven't left yet. Both of my kids are like me. I think the little one wants to move to Australia. The oldest wants to move to Japan. And he just got back from being an exchange student in Japan for 6 months. But so why I'm still here right this second is because this is my last shot.
Yeah. This
is my last shot to try to help. This is my last shot to try to do something. Because again, I'm old. I'm tired. I have polyarthritis. I've got PTSD. I'm done after this. Yeah. This election cycle. After this, I'm out.
Yeah, I hear you. I remember a lot of people, in 2016, were talking about leaving the country if he got elected, and I think Canada. I don't know if like Canadian officials released a statement, but the sentiment was kind of like, we don't really want you guys,
Yeah, but my husband's French Canadian Haitian, so we could go.
Yeah, so you'd have that benefit. Yeah, but I think it's interesting, just like that you would think to like stay and kind of be like, yo, let me see what I can do, because everybody has a responsibility to kind of make the world a better place when they leave it than when they entered it. You know what I mean? And
you don't have to die for it, though.
You don't have to die for it in whatever capacity you can.
Yeah.
And Brady, you know this story, and I'm not going to tell the whole story right now. But I'm sporting a broken shoulder from a cop right now.
Holy shit!
I broke my shoulder on purpose in front of my kids in 2017, and went to jail for 78 hours trying to get my husband to go to the doctor. So that was another reason why I wanted to fight, because every lawyer that I've spoken to so far has said, yes, your rights were violated. Yes, you were assaulted. No, we won't take the case because in today's climate, the assault wasn't violent enough.
Isn't that dark? Ain't that dark?
So were you like supposed to be dead and like your family would have been?
That's the only way. And then
before we do.
Well, and I'll give another story that I won't go into long, but I was raped in 2008. Called the police. They came and took my sheets and tested them and and he admitted it in front of a room full of people. And the DA, and I was told this by the white female cop who brought my sheets back to my house. The DA said, and I quote, I had been drinking. We had hung out before. It's black on black crime, so the case wasn't sexy enough to prosecute.
God damn, I know you not. That's incredible. It was actually incredible. Not even just the fact that they said that, like they felt comfortable like saying that in front of others.
Well, they didn't say it in front of me. They said it to the cop, and the cop
exactly. Right. That's what I mean. Just in front of other people. Like usually you would think somebody who would even have that as a thought would not be bold enough to just openly. We're used to people, I guess, in the South just making some shit up and pretending.
Well, I'll give you bolder. I post that story every year with a link to the guy's page on my Facebook page every year since 2008. He's never blocked me. He's been a public official since this has happened. Now, me and some other comics, because he was a comic, were able to run him out of town. He's in Vegas now. I post this on my page every year with a link to his page, and he's never blocked me because no one gives a damn about black women, and he knows it.
I mean, like, when I think people think that when we talk about defunding the police or even full-on abolition, that this is some like irrational, like, spur of the moment thing just fueled by the being outraged by police shootings. But at every single level of like criminal justice and law enforcement, man, They do not give a fuck about black people, and it's by design. It doesn't even matter about individual cops. It's like this self-running, self-oiled machine that just keeps going. It doesn't matter about individuals, man. I'm so sorry to fucking hear that. That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
This is not a good segue.
Sorry.
I hope that you know the thing the thing I'm about to say sounds comical when I mean it more earnestly than it is. But like, you're in the right place because Twitter is very supportive.
Yes.
Like it's really a community of people who have, and I guess it's because it's much younger, of people who've like seen that and been through that, and the attitude in, you know, this generation, and by this generation I mean like Gen Z, like we're like the last generation practically.
Yes, everything stops after you.
Yeah, it's so much more empathetic and so much more willing to lift people up. The fucking trend like last week, Aaron, was just people adding randos. As long as you just said you were left wing, they would
no comrade under 1K. Yeah,
literally, they were like, we don't want anybody to be under 1,000 followers, and everybody just started following each other.
Yeah.
And there's gonna obviously be ops and infiltrators, and also just people that just are so ideologically unclear they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Or just people that just aren't gonna be like relevant or white noise or whatever. But
well, I will say I appreciate you and your generation. Another reason why I married a 37-year-old. Well, he was 35 when I married him, but you know, so why I went younger. Besides the fact that that's all that hits on me are young guys. But it in between my two husbands, who were both Gen X, all that I dated were millennials or Gen Zs. Or I'm sorry, millennials, because Gen Zs were too young at the time.
Right.
And it was so different.
Yeah.
Guys in their 30s are so different than guys in their 50s. Like you guys are a completely different animal. Almost.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, go ahead, Brendan.
I think we like women more in our generation. Maybe
well, not that you like them, but like, okay, so becoming single at 40 the first time, having been married for 20 years to the first guy I ever went out on a date with. Now, don't get me wrong, I used to get plenty, I just didn't date, because you could do black girls, but you couldn't date black girls back in the day. So
oof.
It was. But when I became single, I was terrified. I'd had 2 kids. I had stretch marks. I had celluloid. Who's going to want to look at me? And Gen X guys and baby boomer guys are all about aesthetics. You know, everybody's supposed to be built like a Barbie doll.
Yeah.
And then young men started flirting with me, and I was like, okay, I've got shoes older than you. What are you doing? And and they didn't care. And like, I got hit on at the pool in a bikini, and I'm like, can you see all this? Because this is scary. And they didn't care. And I started to go, oh, okay, so maybe that's not so important. Yeah. And then it happened again when my last husband left, and all that was hitting on me were 20-somethings and young 30-somethings. And I was like, oh, okay, nobody's made fun of me naked yet, so let's go.
Yeah. I mean, like, my generation, man, if I could say anything, we are, I would say on average, kinder, more understanding, more just like accepting of like people in like fucking general. I mean, I don't want to say that as a blanket statement, but maybe it's also just because the community that I'm in, right? The activists left, but like, yeah, man, people are kind of tired of being oppressed and oppressing other people and shitting on people, man. My generation is more aware of history than ever,
Yeah, but I'm just talking aesthetically. Gen Xers and Boomers are very visual, and they're very militant on what is attractiveness.
Yeah,
I think they're similar things though, because like it's like a status competition for that.
Yeah, but like you guys seem okay. So I realized with the second one, I was like, and I posted this on Facebook right after he left, and I decided to start to date, and I was like, oh my God, I thank the gods that thick is now in. Because back when I was younger, and I've always been skinny. This is probably the biggest I've been not pregnant ever. And I'm 5'7" and 150 pounds. And to me, I feel monstrous. I saw the giggle, but that's how my head, because that's how I was taught to think of myself. Back in high school, I weighed like all of 105 pounds and people made fun of my bubble butt.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So it's so refreshing and different, but it's weird. So sometimes like I'll hang back when listening to you guys talk, or like when I'm out with my husband and his friends and stuff, and I'll listen to them talk about women and things like that. And I'll sit back and think in my head, ew. But then I think, why am I saying ew? They're saying it's okay. Why am I freaking out?
Right.
Yeah.
You are, if you want validation, you've come to the right place. Because Twitter is I'm gonna step back a little bit actually, and come back to like us meeting, because we had no relationship when we started like talking about your show and producing it and hosting it and stuff. Like we did all that like the night that we met basically. And it went like, the introduction like became a business discussion like that, because like you're obviously an excellent radio personality, ERP, and you just like have a warmth to you that like I went from like an hour ago, like starting this show talking about my uncle passing and being all fucking torn up about that, and then I don't feel like talking, I don't feel like doing the live stream, to like an hour later we're like in a totally different place mentally and emotionally, and we're feeling really good, we're feeling positive, and we're feeling validated about what we're doing for each other. This being an example of, we set up the like Sunday night whatever after watching Lovecraft Country, which is on HBO, which is excellent.
I gotta check that out.
Awesome.
It's great.
Did you get it with the glitch?
Yes.
Okay, if you watch the replay, the glitch is all the stuff that you missed is in there.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's dope. Okay, great. But anyway, we went from meeting to, hey, I've got this live stream thing going, I got an audience, let's put you on that, to let's get Aaron, the King of Cloud, also to be on, to like we were all building this shit up. And what's also cool is Aaron, I believe the plan is still to take over Leslie's Twitter account.
Oh,
yes.
Because H.O. Hampton did a little trick like that. And
take over. So just so everybody knows, he's going to be taking over the go-to Negro.
So this is gonna, I think in the same way that the whole H.O. Hampton thing blew up, I think this will blow up for both of y'all as well.
Oh yeah.
And that's like all this shit that we're going through like right now, of just us being bummed about our future and not knowing what our place is in the societal order. Man, we got us. And we got each other.
We got each other. We got community, man.
Well, you got me until I leave the country. Anybody who wants to join my commune in France, you're more than welcome.
It's exactly 69 days now, isn't it?
I wish I could, man. Trust me.
Hey, when you go, we're gonna go. We're gonna all go to France. Whatever. Let's do it.
Good, man. Marseille. They say Marseille is so diverse that French people say it's not France. And I've only been once, but I fell in love.
That's where the Muslims are. Let's go. Let's get in.
Yeah, it is. It is very much. It's very, Marseille is very multicultural, and it's warm. I need warm.
I love it. That's a great plan. So basically.
Oh, can I throw something out there just completely off topic, please?
Yeah.
I have to throw a shout out to Grav.
Yeah, what Anti-Graph plays, Graphcast on Twitter.
He looks just like my oldest son with glasses and no lip.
Great. Grav is on like pretty often. And hey, can both of y'all have got to come back?
He sounds just like my oldest, And then the fact that he's doing a Power Rangers podcast is so my oldest. It's ridiculous. So if Grab ever needs to be adopted, I will be his adopted mom.
Hell
because
yeah.
I haven't spoken, and this is another thing that I don't want to get too hairy, but I haven't spoken to my children in 3 years because of what went down with my last husband.
You've gotta come back. We've got to do this again next week.
Hell yeah.
Like, yeah, and it'll be great. And hopefully Harut will also be here. We'll all hang out. We'll kind of vibrate together. But like for everybody, what's the news? What's going on with Black people? Here's what's going on with Black people. We are like strong, smart, resilient, well organized, well prepared, and we have a sense of and fucking militant, and have a sense of community and solidarity and connection and strength with and from each other. So get on the team that's gonna win, because you're looking at the team that's gonna fucking win.
Hell yeah.
This, think about it. and for the Black conservatives of Twitter, y'all only get half a bar. Fuck y'all niggas.
Fuck y'all dead ass.
Fuck y'all niggas dead ass.
Dead ass.
Not safe for walks, y'all. Thank y'all for watching.
Hell
Yeah. Bye. Oh wait, Leslie, would you like to hang out with us for 15 more minutes?
Sure. I told you I ain't got shit going on in my life right now.
We're gonna do for our Patreon subscribers. Ooh, y'all almost had me miss the Patreon plug at patreon.com/notsafe. You throw in $1 out of your pocket, you get access to hang out with us for like 15 to 20 more minutes. We're gonna kick it and just have some fun together. God damn, this is what an amazing deal. We've taken you from the depths of despair to the heights of joy in 1 hour. Imagine what 25% more of that will do for your spirit. Patreon.com/notsafe. Leslie, you know I'm the advertising person, so I've got this stuff all in my head. $1 will get you into the post show. God bless. Go forward. We love y'all. We'll see you soon.